خوش آمدی.
خوش آمدید به برنامه ما.
Das heißt so viel wie herzlich willkommen zu unserem heutigen Podcast. Man hat es schon gehört, ich spreche Hochdeutsch. Mein Gegenüber hat euch, die Zuhörenden, gerade auf Persisch, also Dari, begrüßt. Wir haben heute einen ganz speziellen Gast bei uns. Ich bin so froh, dass du da bist. Das ist Shabnam Simia. Herzlich willkommen.
Thank you very much. خیلی ممنون از شما.
Vielen lieben Dank. Ich freue mich sehr. Wir werden heute den Podcast etwas auf Deutsch und etwas auf Englisch ausgestalten, einfach, dass die Zuhörenden das gleich wissen. Du bereitest dich zurzeit auf die Deutschprüfung B2 vor. Ich finde das sehr, sehr mutig von dir, dass du mir zugesagt hast, trotzdem einen Podcast mit uns zu machen, auch wenn du dir das von der Sprache her sagst, es könnte schwierig werden. Ich bin unglaublich stolz auf dich, ich finde es so toll. Und eben wie gesagt, ab und zu darfst du auch auf Englisch antworten und mir natürlich auch sagen, wenn ich Englisch sprechen soll.
Vielen Dank, Deutsch ist sehr schwierig.
Ja, Deutsch ist schwierig und ich denke, die Zuhörenden werden Verständnis dafür haben. Wir beginnen gleich. Wir sprechen heute etwas über Afghanistan. Du kommst von Afghanistan, du warst Staatsanwältin dort. Wir beginnen aber damit, dass du zuerst einen kleinen Einblick gibst in das Land Afghanistan, damit die Zuhörenden sich ein Bild vom Land verschaffen können. Wie lief das damals? Wie bist du aufgewachsen? Was kannst du mir über die Kultur von Afghanistan sagen?
Afghanistan is a big country with a different culture, and the person speak many languages. But the official language in Afghanistan is the Persian and Pashto. But we have a lot of local language in Afghanistan. For example, Turkmen, Uzbek, Pashto, Kyrgyz, and with different culture in Afghanistan. Afghanistan has a very complicated history because the situation of Afghanistan and it's very important and located between the very important country, and that's for this reason we had a very bitter history, unfortunately. But the people in Afghanistan are very kind people and very hospitable person, and I like the people without this politics situation.
Ja, das denke ich mir. Sehr weltoffen, oder? Gerade weil es so viele ethnische Gruppen gibt, genau. Ist es vielleicht sogar falsch, vom Land Afghanistan zu sprechen, weil es wie ein Vielvölkerstaat ist? Also es hat ja sehr, sehr viele kulturelle Hintergründe.
Yes, and unfortunately during 50 years the ethnic problem is a very important issue in Afghanistan. After the civil war, after the war, most of the people are against each other. I think this culture grew during the war. And before that, we had the problem, but not this situation. This problem wasn't a very big problem, and the people can solve in the peaceful method, not with the conflict and fighting each other with the weapon and the other method, the very violent method.
Ja, das heißt, früher konnte man sich selbst helfen und heute ist es ein großer Konflikt geworden, beziehungsweise über die Jahre wurde es ein großer Konflikt.
Yes.
Ja, okay. Gehen wir etwas weiter. Was sollte man denn sonst noch über Afghanistan wissen, was man sonst vielleicht nicht direkt, also wir kriegen ja vieles von den Medien mit. Was weiß ich wahrscheinlich nicht über Afghanistan, weil man es hier einfach nicht hört?
Well, the news always shows a very negative image of the people of Afghanistan. the image of the war and poverty, the image of the extremist forces and the poor and backward people. But this is not all of the reality of Afghanistan, because the life continue between the people, and many people of Afghanistan are not supported of the radical Islamic group in Afghanistan. Like the other people in the world, they wish for peace and a balanced life. Yeah. And before the Mujahideen and before the civil war and the war, we had in 1963, we had 2 female military commanders to the rank of the general. In 1965, the first female minister of Afghanistan entered the cabinet.
In 1965?
Yes. Maybe in most of the country in the world, that's not possible at that time, I think. And the woman on that time, and in the 1965, 5 and 6, and the woman entered the parliament. We have the women's movement started to be politically active. They fight for their right on that time. That is interesting, and maybe the people now think that Afghanistan is a very backward country and the people don't understand about their right, especially the woman. But we had the history, in our history, this woman. And we had the ministry, we had the commander, we had the lawyer, and a lot of women in the different area in Afghanistan. They fought for their right, and they could cause the legal and political reform on that time.
Wie wunderschön, oder? Dass wir mal sowas hören, oder? Endlich. Vielen lieben Dank dir für diesen Einblick in Afghanistan.
Bitte.
Wie sah denn dein Alltag aus, als du noch in Afghanistan warst? Du warst Staatsanwältin, vielleicht auch schon vorher. Wie hat es ausgesehen, als du studiert hast oder vielleicht noch zum Kindergarten gingst?
I was a prosecutor in Afghanistan. And I had a good social life, and unfortunately, we were immigrate to Iran when I was born, because until 2005, I didn't see my country, and that the first time after the 3 years or 4 years after the 11th September. I saw the Afghanistan. The war caused my parents go to
in Iran.
As an immigrant. And when I returned to Afghanistan in 2005, I studied law in Afghanistan and political science. I was respected as an educated woman. Who was independent woman, who was economically and so socially self-reliant, and the people respect me. I had a various business trip and travel abroad. For example, I was in India, in the Malaysia, in Thailand, the other country alone, and at that time, there were not many problems for women like me. And the laws protect the woman. Obstacles were created by the traditional family, not by the government, not by law. We have a lot of rights according to the constitutional, according to the law and the other legislative, but some of traditional people were against them. But we were protected by the law. And this other family, like my family, didn't have any problem for my travel, for my improving and other things.
Also deine Familie war sehr weltoffen, also modern.
Ja.
Und dann gab es aber Familien in Afghanistan, die von sich aus sagten, obwohl ihr dazumals eben mehr Freiheiten hattet, die sagten, nein, du bist eine Frau, ob jetzt das die Mutter sagte oder der Vater, wahrscheinlich gab es beides, die schränkten die Frauen selbst ein.
Yeah.
Ja, okay.
Yes.
Traurig, oder?
Ja.
Ja.
And many people support their girls and their women to improve and to work.
Ja, schön. Und dann ging es ja weiter für dich. Du wurdest Staatsanwältin. Wie sah das dann aus? Wie kamst du zu deiner Stelle als Staatsanwältin? Wie sah dein Alltag aus und was hat dich auch motiviert, Staatsanwältin zu werden?
Yeah. I'm a woman from the war generation.
Yeah.
And I was born in the war, and until today, when I am here, the war is still going on in my country. 3 years after this September 11 attack, when I was in the 10th class, and our country had been freed from the Taliban. I returned to my country. On that time, I decided to study the law and political. My parents didn't accept because my family want me to become a doctor.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Klassisch, oder?
Yes. Because it was a good job in Afghanistan, well paid and away from the political concerns. My family think that's not a good woman study right. That's Afghanistan had a very bad situation for the woman. That is not good, and the political science that's not good for a woman. My family, especially my mother, was against this subject.
Aber weil sie Angst um dich hatte, oder? Also nicht weil sie traditionell war?
Yes. Because in the country in Afghanistan, most of the people have a lot of bad experience about the situation, and some of the job like doctor, engineer, in every regime can work. That's they think about this thing, but it was not a normal job for the Afghanistan, and they couldn't think about the woman in the position like the prosecutor, judge, representative of the parliament. That's not normal for all of the people in Afghanistan, especially on that time, because Afghanistan for the first time catch the people, control the people, the Mujahideen before them also catch Afghanistan, and Afghanistan was a backward country on that time, and most of the mind of the people changed, some of them, and they couldn't think about the woman in this position.
Yeah.
But that was, for me, it was very important because I wanted to fight against the obstacle, against some of the things that treat the women, the people. And I want to show the other I can work in some of the other area, not just as a woman I can be a teacher or a doctor or the engineer. That's not for me interesting on that time. And I try to stay on my decision, and I told my mother I decided to be a lawyer. Or a politic woman, maybe. And I think that's now also that is very important for me, because I have a very bad experience about the discrimination against the woman in the Islamic country, in the other area of the world. And the situation of the women in all of the world not equal with men. But in my country, this situation is very worse. And discrimination, we have a lot of discrimination against the woman. And that's reason for me is a very, very important reason for study in law and political science.
Wie schön. Ja, das ist ein ganz schöner Beweggrund, finde ich sehr motivierend. Und über die Frauenrechte, da sprechen wir gleich noch darüber. Jetzt noch kurz zu dir. In welcher Abteilung warst du? Also wie genau sah deine Arbeit aus? Du hast vorhin im Vorgespräch erwähnt, du hast gegen die Taliban gearbeitet. Was hast du genau gemacht in Afghanistan als Staatsanwältin?
I was a prosecutor against the terrorism crime. That was a very and a really risky job.
Yeah.
And my parents always afraid from my job because it was a very risky job, and he always betrayed by Taliban, and they warned us. We attacked him, we killed him. A lot of my colleagues were killed by Taliban, and Taliban killed them. And it was this job. It's like a part of battlefield in Afghanistan, and we investigated the cases of Taliban, ISIS, and other terrorist members. Interrogated the terrorists and determine the type of the crimes and the amount of their punishment. And we sent the case to the court. And that's where we went to the court, and we go to the court and follow up the case. And that's Taliban had a lot of hostility against us because they thought, and now they think we are the enemy of them, and that was really in reality. I agree, we were against the Taliban, but we were the lawyer. We research about the crime and follow up the case. For this reason, they killed a lot of the prosecutor in the terrorist department. When I was in Afghanistan as a prosecutor against the Taliban, all of the time I have a stress because when you go out of home and out of office, always you think maybe a person attacked you.
Yeah.
That's normal in Afghanistan because the security department warned us, please careful about yourself. We don't have a lot of equipment and a lot of facility to you and shoots you. It was
uns für euch zu sorgen. Ja, genau.
And we didn't have a lot of secure method for protect us. That's very dangerous. We just the government take us a weapon. You can protect himself or herself. That's not funktioniert.
Ja, genau. Eben, du kannst gut Deutsch.
Sometimes I forget the English word, ja.
Ich finde das super. Nein, und wie du gesagt hast, das war bereits vor 2021, als du eigentlich um dein Leben fürchten musstest, immer wieder aufgrund deiner Arbeit. Also nicht erst seit 2021, sondern schon seit deiner Arbeit als Staatsanwältin.
Yeah, yes. And that is my professional life as a prosecutor office. And my normal life also affected by my job because most of the time I should stay at home. Most of the time I go to the office and come back to my home. But I had a lot of contact with my friend. We sometimes went to the restaurant. We speak a lot about the politics, about the lawyer, about the other things about our life, and we were very happy, and we concerned about our wish, our life, and our family, or the situation of Afghanistan, and that is. We unfortunately we couldn't in the other area of Afghanistan because that's was very dangerous for me and the other my colleague, because most of the relations for me with the other prosecutor and didn't have a lot of friends, and just the other friends were in Herat. When I was a student in the faculty, I had a lot of friends in this university. I had the contact with them, but not always, and I couldn't see them every time. Just when I returned to Herat, my province, and I visit my family, I went to the park and the party with them, and that's the social life was good for the other people. The women were free, and free. They felt freedom, and they could go to the party. They could go to the park, to the restaurant, and I think that social life were good. On that time for the women, for the other people. We had a lot of problem, but that's normal. Every society after war had a lot of problem. But also in the other side, we have the some of the
es gab immer
hobbies.
Genau. Und du selbst bist ja von Kabul, ist das richtig?
Ja,
genau. Und das heißt eben, wie du es gerade erwähnt hast, beispielsweise Kandahar war nicht möglich, um dorthin zu fahren, weil gerade in Kandahar waren viele Taliban.
Yes.
Das heißt, du warst eingeschränkt nur schon in deinem eigenen Land.
That's right, because the situation in each province was different. In Kabul, in Herat and Mazar Sharif, 3 provinces, the situation was very better than other province. And some of the provinces like Kandahar, like Helmand, and the other province, as you mentioned, the situation was not good for the women.
Ja, und das ist eben diese politische Instabilität, die dich auch eingeschränkt hat als Staatsanwältin. Wie sieht es nun aus? Vor der Machtübernahme der Taliban war es eben diese politische Instabilität, die hat sich ausgewirkt auf die Arbeit von dir. Du hast Kolleginnen und Kollegen immer noch in Afghanistan. Und wie sieht es da mittlerweile aus? Können die überhaupt noch als Staatsanwältin arbeiten mittlerweile?
At the first, I want to speak about the instability and affected on the life of the people in Afghanistan. When I returned to Afghanistan in 2005, everything had just begun. Because there was nothing. The infrastructure was destroyed. There were no experienced human force. And this misfortune was due to the war and instability. That's very important. Instability, that's very important for the life of the people in every country, in every land. Instability is the worst plague that can destroy all the infrastructure and make the human force scattered and ineffective. For example, when I was not yet born or was a child, My uncle worked as an engineer in the Air and Military Equipment Department of the government. With the start of the war and the defeat of the government, he fled from Afghanistan. A lot of people, like my uncle, fled and escaped from Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. As you know, when you want to make a human source, you should spend a lot of money for the people. Yeah. And it takes a lot of time. When a child grows and educated and obtain the experience, it takes a lot of time. Maybe after the war, after you can buy a fabric, you can import a lot of equipment from the other country, but you cannot make the human source easily. You should a lot of time spent from these people, grow and educated, and he or she can obtain a lot of experience. And our history always repeat, and the government try to make the human source and a lot of money spent for the people. And after one event and after the defeat country, this human resource leave the country. Yeah. And with my uncle on that period fled from country, and in this period the government spent a lot of facility and money for me and the other person like me, and we educated and we worked, and after that the Taliban catch Afghanistan, we have to escape from Afghanistan. Yeah. And the country need these people like me. And the first group of the people that have to escape from the country, the educated person, they are the educated person, because you need to a lot of things for life, and you need security. And you know about the future of their children, future of yourself and the other things, and you understand when you stay in this country, you don't have a future, and their children and family don't have future. And these people want to leave the country. That's normal. In all of the world, that's normal. But this situation affected the other part of the country, and that's caused Afghanistan can't developed. Yeah. And because by the other people, that these people don't educated, and these people don't have don't know anything about the different area of the job, and don't have a knowledge about everything. They can't make the country. And this is our history during the 50 years.
Das heißt, die gebildeten Personen, wie zum Beispiel du warst ja auch besonders gefährdet, bereits schon davor und nach der Machtübernahme der Taliban sowieso. Du hast mir vorhin erzählt, du bliebst noch genau 10 Tage seit der Machtübernahme der Taliban im Land. Dann bist du mit dem Auto geflohen über die Grenze. Da kommen wir auch noch dazu. Das war eine sehr gefährliche Flucht.
Yes.
Und eben der Rest der Bevölkerung in Afghanistan, der hat zu wenig Bildung, zu wenig Mittel, um das Land überhaupt zu übernehmen. So, ja.
Yes. And now that this situation repeats, and we escaped from Afghanistan, fled Afghanistan, and in the department, the terrorist department removed by Taliban in this time, because Taliban don't need this department, this section, and they were against this department, and they had a lot of hostility about this section. And my colleague have either fled the country or live secretly life in Afghanistan, some of them.
Wirklich?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. They have afraid from Taliban because this section of the department is can't. This very very dangerous section of the between the other department and Taliban killed the people because after Taliban catch Afghanistan, they killed many of my colleagues. And one of my colleagues has killed under the torture of Taliban. And for this reason, I know many of my colleagues escaped from Afghanistan, the other have a secret life. And in the other province, and they were in the different province, not on that province that they work before the Taliban.
Sehr gefährlich.
Yes, but I had one or two colleagues that on that time they work in the other department, not the terrorism department. They told me the Taliban forced them to return the office and work in the prosecutor office for the normal crime, not the terrorism or heavy crime.
Sind das Frauen oder nur Männer?
Nur Männer.
Okay.
And they told me that is a catastrophe. We are only symbolically in the office. Mm-hmm. Our presence in the office is very symbolically, okay, not real work. And that's the Taliban. They told that the Taliban don't know anything about the law. Yeah. They told me our director, the Taliban, are the head of the department, the Taliban. But we are sitting, we don't do anything in the office. All of the time, just sitting in the other media, just think we are working, but not think anything and nothing. And our head come in the office and speak about the prayer, about the fasting, and very simple things we know about them. Because they are not professional, they are not a knowledge man, and they don't anything about the law. And that's not just about the law. The other, my colleague in Afghanistan, in the other office, they told we are symbolic. Our presence in the office is symbolic for the media. We didn't do anything. The Taliban didn't understand anything about the official work.
Haben Sie denn haben die Taliban eigene Anwälte angestellt für die Scharia zum Beispiel? Also die haben eigene Leute für die Scharia, um die Scharia durchzusetzen.
Yes, they have, but they are not also knowledge about the Islam. That's
wirklich?
Yes, the Taliban have a mullah, the mullah in the mosque, and they decide about everything. They are police, they are Anwälte, they are die Staatsanwältin oder Staatsanwalt. And one person decide about everything without any evaluated the case and anything, and just they decided about this person is a guilty person, you can punish them.
Also einfach nach Bauchgefühl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Wahnsinnig. Yes. Ja, Wahnsinn. Also dann haben wir schon viel von dir gehört. Und neben der Instabilität, über die wir es gerade hatten, war auch Korruption ein großes Thema, genau. Wir haben vorhin im Vorgespräch schon etwas darüber gesprochen. Wie bemerktest du die Korruption in Afghanistan? Wie groß war dieses Thema für dich?
Yes, always I think about the corruption in Afghanistan because corruption was one of the biggest weaknesses of the previous government. I can boldly say that one of the important reasons for people's discouragement from the government and disappointment from the government and not supporting the previous republic government was corruption. Corruption was one of the important reasons for the collapse. That's really issue. And honestly, there was corruption in the upper echelons of the government. Most of the high authority were the corrupt person. Corruption was going on systematically, and it was impossible to fight against the corruption in the lower levels. Yeah. You couldn't stay against the corruption because that's very, very difficult, and that is impossible on that time. I worked in a very sensitive department for 3.5 years. On that time, I was an expert in the fight against the terrorist crime, and many cases come to me from all over the country. I was under the pressure. I feel the corruption. I was under the pressure, a lot of pressure. The general director wanted me to refrain from sending the specific case to the court. I never did this. I never did. I was very stressed. I was always afraid that they would file a case against me, because that's normal when you didn't cooperate with the corrupt person. Yeah. And that's why I try too hard to be accurate despite the work pressure, the work pressure. And when they understand I was not cooperated with them, they transferred me to another department against my will.
Wirklich?
Yeah.
Wahnsinn.
And of course, but today I am proud of the women, because most of the women like me weren't corrupt person, and the women worked better than men. I'm proud of this, and we were commitment to our government, our people, but we work honestly for the people. I believe the human rights. I believe not just speak about this issue, because on that time that was very important for the media and the other person. And a lot of women in Afghanistan work honestly, and I'm proud of this.
Ich ebenso. Wirklich tolle Arbeit. Ja. Was viele ja nicht wissen oder was vielen nicht so bewusst ist, das haben wir vorhin schon diskutiert, eben diese Korruption, das ging teilweise so weit, dass es flossen sehr viele Gelder aus dem Ausland nach Afghanistan. Das kam auch an, nur man hatte in Afghanistan zum Beispiel gesagt, ja, wir brauchen das Geld für eine Schule, wir bauen diese auf. Und gerade da es zum Beispiel so viele Projekte gegeben hat und man im Ausland diese Übersicht gar nicht mehr hatte über die vielen Projekte, da gab man dieses Geld einfach und die Schule wurde aber nie gebaut.
Yes.
Das war ein großes Problem, oder?
Yes, we had a lot of different corruption between the military group, between the political group, between the lawyer, between all of the branch of Afghanistan, because this corruption was a systematic corruption. And they had a lot of network in all of the Afghanistan. And the fighting against the corruption was just a kidding. We understand this situation. They obtained a lot of geld for the project that you mentioned, for the Ghost school, for the Ghost military force, for a lot of things that they obtained a lot of geld for the salary of the military group. This force were just in the list, not really really person.
Ja. Das
really
heißt,
person,
man hat auf die Liste verschiedene Namen draufgeschrieben, aber diese Personen existierten zum Teil nicht. Das wurde, glaube ich, auch mit Lehrerinnen und Lehrern gemacht.
Yeah.
Und man zahlte diese Gehälter, aber die Person gab es nicht.
Yes, and we had a corrupt government, and unfortunately, the Western country understand this situation in Afghanistan, and they know the corrupt person. Unfortunately, they support this person. For example, the president and group and the team of the president for the corruption in the Kabul bank. That's a very famous corruption, and at that time about $1 billion lost by the group, by the team of the president and by cooperation with the president. But after that, the other country support also by Karzai, the president of Afghanistan, and the other people. Maybe they think that they have not another chance, but I think that's a mistake of this country about Afghanistan. And this waste, this corruption, disappointed the people, and the people don't support the government. They didn't want the Taliban. And that is not true that the Afghan people like the Taliban because they are traditional. No, they are traditional. Most of the people of Afghanistan in the other province are the traditional and the Islamic person, but they are not the fundamentalist person. They are very normal. They want their girls go to the school. They want a normal life, but they thought the government don't think about the people like them, just stole all of the project, all of the money, this money that's belong to the people, not for this person. I think the government and the Western country had a lot of mistake about their manner, about their strategy and plan for Afghanistan. And one of the most important reason for the collapse of Afghanistan are this reason, and they are must think about these things, about their mistake.
Das heißt, die Leute fühlten sich von der Regierung im Stich gelassen. Ja. Die Regierung kümmerte sich nicht um das Volk. Wiederum, die Taliban waren zu extrem, die gingen auch nicht. Und die militärischen, das Militär, das war wiederum auch eine andere Gruppe. Also es gab diese 4 Gruppen und überall dazwischen war einfach diese Spannung und dann noch mit der Korruption, das brachte das ganze System auch zum Kollaps. Vielleicht für die Zukunft etwas, aber sehr, sehr tragisch, dass das an diesem ganzen, also durch diese ganzen vielen Faktoren ist das große Projekt Afghanistan tragisch gescheitert. Gehen wir zu einem Thema, was uns beide sehr beschäftigt, die Frauenrechte in Afghanistan. Ja, eines unserer Hauptthemen, warum wir heute zusammensitzen. Wie hat sich die Rolle der Frauen in Afghanistan über die letzten Jahrzehnte verändert? Wie sah das früher aus, als du aufgewachsen bist? Und wie sieht es jetzt aus?
That's a very important question. And always I think about the right of the women. And it was not comparable at all, because you can easily compare the situation of the women today with the situation of the women in the first period of Taliban. And in both periods, women were completely excluded from all social, political, legal, cultural, etc. They lost all their rights. After the 11th September, the women obtained their rights, because the first of the period of Taliban, women also had lost all of their rights, as you know. And after that, we had a good period for the women after 2001, because all of the people on that time wanted to study their girls after the Taliban, and they were very optimistic in the future. A lot of the girls went to the school, and every day I saw the little girls that they were to the school, and that's for very, very good time for the women, and they try to study because they were deprived during the Taliban, and they have afraid from Taliban, and they suffered a very bad situation on that time. And after that situation, many laws were enacted in favor of women. And we had the positive discrimination in constitution. For example, due to the law, mindestens two women must go to the parliament according to the law, and you should choose two women from each province, and maybe you can more than two women choose in the parliament. But they understand that in some of the province, the very area that's this area were very backward, very traditional. Maybe the woman couldn't access to the source, and the people don't choose them for the parliament and don't give the vote. And for this province also we have the law that two women must go to the parliament, and that was the positive discrimination for the parliament. And at that time we have a lot of the women in the parliament, in the cabinet. We have the 2 or 3 ministers in the cabinet. We have a lot of judges in the judicial system, and the presence of women were in everywhere, and you saw the women in every place, in the sport event, in the media, in the TV, and we had a lot of women, and that was a very good time, and the women used their right, and they try to improve themselves, because they understood that they have a very bad situation after the first period of Taliban. They need to improve and more work than the man, and at that time, and I think that was very good time for women after Taliban. Unfortunately, now you saw that Taliban catch Afghanistan for the other time and for the second time, and women lost all of their rights, and the Taliban understand that the society changed by women, and the Taliban don't want the society change, because when as women stay at home, she is sex slaves for the women. Just can they make a baby for the society, and just the women, when the women don't understand anything about the society, about the politics, about everything, their children also don't understand anything about this, and this reproduce the traditional person in the society. And Taliban are against the women, and they tell that's very dangerous. You let the woman study. They told to study. And because after the woman study, they don't want to marry. They don't accept for the first married for another man, and they don't want to live with the person like us, and they are against the child married, against the 2 or 3 wives for one man. They are against this thing, and they fight against the patriarchal society. And Taliban afraid from the women.
Yeah.
And for this reason, they try to create a lot of obstacles for women.
Ja, sie klein zu halten, genau. Weil Bildung macht ja stark oder informiert zumindest, und je mehr Bildung die Frauen dort haben könnten, desto irgendwie, wie du es gerade schön erklärt hast, wenn natürlich eine gebildete Frau ihr Kind ebenfalls zu Hause bilden würde, dann würde dieses System gar nicht mehr funktionieren.
Ja.
Und wenn die Frau im Unwissen bleibt und so auch ihr Kind zu Hause erziehen muss, ohne irgendwie die Perspektive der Bildung erlangt zu haben, dann geht es natürlich für die Taliban ganz einfach, um die Frauen klein zu halten.
Ja,
genau. Was sehr schade ist. Du hast gerade ziemlich gut erklärt, wie sich die Rechte und Freiheiten verändert haben, auch von über diese ganze lange Zeitperiode. Welche Einschränkungen hattest du damals als Staatsanwältin?
There were many challenges, yeah. When I work as a prosecutor, I work between a lot of powerful men. That's very difficult for the woman in the country like Afghanistan after many years war, and after and between the man that they think they are the powerful man, the corrupt man, and you don't have a powerful network from the loyal person to the human rights, or network of powerful woman, and you are alone and you are scattered and between a lot of the powerful men. And that's I feel, and the other women always speak with me about this hard situation, because most of the women don't access to the source, they couldn't improve in their job. They are very smart, some of them work better than men, but you can't develop. Why? Because you should cooperate with the corrupt man, and you or should supported by the man, the other powerful man, for improving, for development, and that's very difficult, and that's what a challenge for the women, and I think, and the other things that I felt during my job, that's the patriarchal culture. We look like the modern office. We had a lot of modern things. We work with the man. The man work with us. We were in the very risky department. But at the end, we understand about the patriarchal culture. At the some of the man thinks about the power of the woman. That's not good for a woman. You couldn't do this. They saw that we do better and my colleague, my colleague do the better than man and work better than, but they ignore the women. They ignore. They afraid from the women. Why? Why a woman be in the position like me?
Yeah.
On the position high, and why a woman be in a high position than me? That's very difficult for the man sometimes, and that's especially at the first time. In the end of the years, I'm a little it's changed, and the mind of the man changed. But we had also a lot of problem with this the system, and the other system is a corrupt system that don't let the Frau and don't let the women to go ahead.
Ja. Also so in 2018, 19, 2020 war es wahrscheinlich schon einfacher, mit Männern zu arbeiten, oder?
Yes.
Ja, okay. Aber wie du gesagt hast, es waren nicht alle Männer so. Also du sagtest some of them.
Some of them.
Ja, genau. Das heißt, du hattest auch männliche Freunde dort auf deiner Arbeit, oder?
Yes.
Okay, schön.
Yeah, we had some of the men were open-minded men, and they try to help the women, and they were our very good colleague. We work with together, and they acknowledge that the women are better than men in some of the area. But for example, they are not corrupt, and they could trust the woman, and we could trust this person. We support each other, and some of them we help each other. And that's very good. And they try to, they think that's good that these days the women work with us, because the situation and atmosphere of the office changed by a woman. They told me before women in this department, the atmosphere was different. But now everything has changed. Issue that we speak about, this issue also changed, and our mind changed, and everything in my life changed, and that's a very positive things they told me, and that's good.
Ja. Ja, sehr schön. Und ich denke, es ist auch wichtig zu sagen, es gab nicht nur Männer in Afghanistan, die Frauen unterdrückt haben, sondern eben es gab auch solche, die ein anderes Mindset, eine andere Einstellung hatten. Nur eben, irgendwie leider hat es sich nicht ganz durchgesetzt und sähe die Situation heute anders aus. Und zur jetzigen Situation, wie sieht es jetzt aus? Also ich denke, der ganzen Welt ist es bewusst, aber ziemlich viele sehen einfach weg. Wie sieht es jetzt aktuell im Land Afghanistan aus für die Frauen?
Unter
den Taliban.
Government. Yeah. In the current situation, as you know and as I told, the women have lost everything and all fundamental rights, and they have to stay at home. They don't even have the right to go around the city without men. And Taliban have turned women into sex slaves. And those who have to stay at home and provide the sexual and care service for men. And I think that is just disaster. You know that this situation is disaster, because we saw the women, some of the women in the media, and this woman belonged to the intellectual family we know about them, they fight against the Taliban, and we didn't know anything about the other woman. That's very, very dangerous. We didn't know under the Taliban regime what is their situation, because as some report of the UN and other humanitarian government organization in Afghanistan, we know that the forced marriage, child marriage increased, the violence against the woman increased, because all this situation, the poverty situation, and all of this situation affected the women, and also and always the women are the main victim of the new situation and war and the bad situation, and that is very, very bad. I understand one of my colleagues, and she was a very strong and smart prosecutor in my department, speak about the violence that suffer by their family after the Taliban. He was independent. She was an independent woman on that time. She gave the money to their family, to their father, brother, and now father, brother, and their family pressure her and violate her, and he tried to suicide attack himself. Yeah, that's catastrophe. This situation, that is the reality of this situation of the women in Afghanistan. And as you know, the Taliban Ministry of Good and Prohibition of Evil say that is forbidden to hear a woman's voice even when reading the holy books of the Muslim. And he told the other woman, that's adult woman, don't hear the voice of the other adult woman. That is not good. That is guilty. That is catastrophe. I don't know what's going on his mind. But it's not a mind anymore. It's a savage of the superstition and stupidity.
Ja, es ist ein Isolieren der Frauen, und das große Problem, was du jetzt vorhin auch angesprochen hast, selbst Männer, die vorhin sehr fortschrittlich waren, wie der Vater und der Bruder deiner Kollegin, die wurden durch die Situation jetzt in Afghanistan, wo eben, wir haben das vorhin auch schon besprochen, alle müssen oder die Frauen bleiben zu Hause, sie haben keine Arbeit, keine Zukunft. Da treffen Welten zu Hause aufeinander, von der Armut geprägt, dass die Situation zu Hause eskalieren.
Ja. After the Taliban rule, family violence, suicide rates among the women, forced marriage, and increase, and that is catastrophe. That is disaster for the women, and I think Taliban try to dehumanize the woman.
Ja, ich denke, das ist auch das große Problem mit dem Hijab.
Yes.
Musstest du ihn damals auch schon tragen?
Yes, and when I tried to escape from Afghanistan, after the Taliban, I wear the hijab and the long mantle and the very long scarf, and I wear the mask and on that time, because I am afraid from Taliban, and they were against the women, and also I am afraid maybe they recognize me, and I try to wear hijab, and that's for very bad, because between the hijab you couldn't good laufen. That's very, very bad clothes for the activity.
Okay, das sieht man gar nicht von außen.
Ja.
Okay, das ist, ja. Und was denkst du auch selbst, wenn du diese Hijabs siehst? Erinnert dich das daran, dass man die Frauen unsichtbar machen möchte, oder ist der Hijab das kleinste Problem?
Yes, okay. I think when I wear the hijab, I think about my body.
Yeah.
I thought about my body, why my body is an obstacle for me, for myself. That's very, on that time, my body was a problem. And I feel that spot with this body, I couldn't do anything. And I just with my body, I lost everything. And when I was a woman, I was a hijab, in the hijab, I think functioned the person, because I couldn't able to do anything. And I think the other people judge me by this hijab. And in the hijab, you are just a sex body, because you feel this, because you should keep your pores, your body is, if I know, the breast was the bruised, after age, and that is problem for me on that time, and I feel very bad, and I think this hijab, I forgot the exact word, and humiliate me. I think that's the hijab, and that was a very, very bad obstacle for me. And you think about your body, and just you think you are not a human like other human. You are just, I think, about the freedom, about the emancipation, about the fighting against this regime, against this tradition, against this religion. But what is this? Immer I ask myself, what is this?
Das ist interessant und auch wunderschön zu hören, weil von den Taliban oder von einer solchen Gruppe habe ich mal ein Video angesehen. Das ist ja immer ganz schwierig mit so Videos, ob die jetzt stimmen, also richtig sind oder hergestellt wurden. Jedenfalls sagte man dort, Frauen sind wie Süßigkeiten und wenn sie eben nicht verpackt sind, also versteckt werden, dann kommen die Fliegen und die vergnügen sich daran, wie auch immer. Also ganz ein grausiges Sprichwort aus meiner Seite. Und du hast mir das jetzt ganz wunderschön aufgezeigt, dass es eben genau das Gegenteil ist, wie sich die Frauen in einem solchen Hijab fühlen. Also du fühlst dich eigentlich mehr sexualisiert und objektifiziert, wenn du in diesem Hijab bist, als wie wenn du in Jeans unterwegs bist, oder?
Yes,
also
yes.
Es löst genau das Umgekehrte aus.
Yes. That's cause you think about this thing. Yes, they speak about a lot of things that they want to show a woman is like a things, not a human.
Yeah.
And the sex body, she is a sex body. Just they think about the sex with the women, not about the human. He has right. He has he can think, and they are against the woman, and they are try to decrease the women, the dignity and of the women, and they create the woman as a things, not as a human.
Ja, eben, also Süßigkeiten, ich weiß ja nicht, also schrecklich, oder dieser Vergleich.
Yes.
Ja, ich denke, wir verlinken ganz sicher noch irgendeine gute Organisation unter diesem Podcast, damit die Leute eben wieder hinschauen, oder? Das ist das große Problem von heute. Man sieht nicht mehr nach Afghanistan. Wir haben so viele Probleme auf der Welt, aber die Frauen in Afghanistan, die Menschen generell, die bräuchten unsere Aufmerksamkeit immer noch.
Yes.
Ja.
When I reached in the Switzerland, at the first I feel security here. And after many years, especially after the Taliban, after a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress, I feel I'm here safe, and I saw the other women don't care about their security, don't care about the freedom, emancipation, and other, because they obtain a lot of things here. They are safety, and that's after that until now I think always about my people, about the other women. They stuck in Afghanistan. They don't access to anything. They couldn't go out Afghanistan. They don't have any chance for other future, and that's very difficult, and that is very important for all of the women in the world, in the Switzerland, in the other. Think about their situation, about their body, and about the history of the woman, because the women in the Europe fight a lot for their rights, and I think my people also, and the women in Afghanistan must fight against the patriarchal regime, against the patriarchal culture, and that's very important for all of them. And I think when you don't have security, when you are not freedom, you're not you can't able to act unhuman. Yeah, that's very important. That's very important, because when we want to show our humanity, we need to be freedom. We must have a political action, and that's very important for all of the women, especially for the women like Afghanistan women, Iranian women, and the other women in the Africa and the other area of the world. I think we must fighting against this system, against the woman. And here I'm safe, but it's not enough for me.
Yeah,
it's not enough, because just I can save myself, but not, and that's, and now I think I have opportunity to cooperate with the other women, and I try to fight against this system, because as a human I have responsibility about the other women, like Afghan women and like the other women in the world.
Ja, das heißt, du hast auch viel Kontakt zu afghanischen Frauen mit einer Organisation und du hilfst denen.
Yes, yeah, I try. Yeah.
Ich denke, nur schon diesen Frauen eine Stimme zu geben, was wir heute ebenfalls probieren, ist eine sehr, sehr gute Wahl. Ich habe dir im Vorfeld gesagt, eben ich habe eine große Faszination sowohl für afghanische Frauen, natürlich Menschen allgemein, aber insbesondere die Frauen von Afghanistan, als auch für die iranischen Frauen, da ich jetzt weiß, dass du aus dem Iran auch noch kommst, weil ich denke, das ist eine so unglaubliche Stärke, welche diese Frauen haben, wann jemandem die Rechte genommen werden. Also die Frauen hatten einmal mehr Rechte, sowohl im Iran als auch in Afghanistan. Denen wurden die Rechte genommen und dennoch bleiben diese Menschen so unglaublich stark. Ich wüsste nicht, wie sehr ich zerbrechen würde an so einem System. Also mein größter Respekt an diese Frauen dort im Land.
Yes, also yes. We can realize and understand the Frauen, because I have experience under a dictator regime, because in Iran, we know that the regime, this regime is very, very dictatorship and very totalitarian government. They don't let the women improve. The situation of the woman in Iran is better than the woman in Afghanistan. But I think now the Iranian women understand about their rights, and they understand they should and they must fight against this regime. They is a very necessity things for this situation. When they don't fight against this regime don't change.
Yes. Ja.
And we need to fight against this regime. Yes.
Genau, und es ist ein sehr, sehr gefährlicher Kampf
Yes.
im Iran.
Yes.
Und trotzdem bleibt zu hoffen, dass die Frauen in Afghanistan mit Unterstützung der Männer das irgendwann auch schaffen, diesen Kampf so weit zu bringen wie im Iran, denn nur dann kann sich etwas ändern.
Yes.
Ja. Wir im Westen, wir können nur hinschauen und versuchen mit Spenden, mit Aufmerksamkeit irgendwie zu helfen. Und ich denke, das haben wir heute ein bisschen geschafft. Ja, zum Schluss, was gibt dir Hoffnung, diesen Frauen oder auch das Justizsystem, dass das irgendwann besser wird? Was ist da deine Hoffnung und dein Wunsch?
The most important thing that I want to say, don't leave women alone anywhere in the world and in Afghanistan. And all the efforts of Afghan women in the last 3 years have been to convey a message and send a message to the people of the world, and especially the West, and to attract their opinion. They believe that the people of the West will not forget them because of their human rights values. And struggle requires hope, and this hope must be kept alive. And I want to request from the other women in Switzerland and the other people, not just the woman, as all of the human, and don't forget the woman and don't leave the woman of Afghanistan alone. Because when they lost their hope and they die, they are alive until they have a hope and they believe they can change this situation.
Ja, also unbedingt die Aufmerksamkeit dorthin geben, zuhören und sich irgendwie vielleicht sogar engagieren.
Ja.
Shabnam, möchtest du noch irgendwas sagen? Irgendetwas loswerden oder war das?
And thank you very much for giving me a time to speak about my experience about the situation of Afghanistan and share this issue with the other people. Maybe that's interesting for the other people that know about our experience and know about some of the people. They are alive in Afghanistan, but they want to speak with the other people indirect with the other person speak about their situation and share this situation with the other people, and because they want to change everything, their life, and that is very, very important for all of the human, I think, because we have same fate in the history. We suffered a lot of dictatorship regime in Europe, in Asia, in other continents. I think we, the human, are in danger always you don't sure stability is continue for many years. As you saw in the war in the Ukraine, in the Gaza, in other land, and every time that is possible to change the situation. And I think all of the people need to cooperate with each other, because we are not sure about the government, about some of the people in the government. And that is better we understand each other, and that's I thank from all of the people and the humanitarian organization. They think about the other people in all of the world. I think that is a humanity, and I'm that it's that things that give me a hope.
Ja, mir ebenso. Und wir werden diese Organisation ganz sicher noch verlinken in unserem Podcast, in der Beschreibung, damit sich die Leute informieren können und wir da vielleicht noch ein paar Stimmen erreichen.
Thank you.
Ja.
Thank you very much.
Liebe Shabnam, danke dir vielmals. Ich beschreibe es noch kurz. Also ich sitze hier mit dir am Tisch und der Tisch ist einfach vollgedeckt und das gibt es sonst nicht. Also diese Gastfreundschaft, ich schätze das wahnsinnig. Also wir haben Kuchen, Käse, Oliven, Kaffee, es steht alles hier. Danke vielmals für deine Gastfreundschaft, für deine Zeit.
You're welcome, ja, bitte. And you eat just a little.
Wir machen jetzt noch weiter. Ja, wir essen jetzt noch kurz.
Okay, good.
Vielen lieben Dank, Shabnam.
Thank you very much. Vielen Dank, ja.
Und deine Deutschprüfung, die schaffst du mit links.
Oh ja, das ist für mich Katastrophe. Wenn ich über die Prüfung gedacht habe viel Angst.
Deswegen war es heute auf Englisch im Podcast.
Ja.
Aber ich finde, du kannst sehr, sehr gut Deutsch sprechen. Ja, du schaffst es mit links.
Hoffentlich. Gut, das